We're between 16 to 28 degrees colder than yesterday. That's the most impressive graphic that I love to see on my map. But as promised, look, right around 7 o'clock, all of us will be having temperatures in the 40s. That's just as we will start the day and really start to heat up into the 60s. Just so you know, we're not heating up. When I say heat up, those temperatures in the 60s are typically morning lows for us. We're going to have those as highs today. So all the festivities to celebrate Veterans Day, all of our veterans out there, thank you so much for everything that you've done. The sacrifice is amazing and we appreciate it. And just so you know, Mother Nature appreciates you, so you can get out there with some sweaters, jackets, boots, and scarves all day long. More on all this coming up.
That's right. Thank you to our veterans. Annaliese Garcia here with a little traffic update for you guys. Good morning. It is Tuesday. It is cold outside. Put your seat warmers on. Let's take a look right now at your roads. This is the turnpike going northbound and southbound, but the northbound lanes are what we should be concerned about. This is near Southwest 268th Street. Things are pretty bumper to bumper. Let's take you out to your map so I can show you what that looks like. Right here is what we are seeing. You can see pockets of, or this big chunk of red right here. Speeds coming in as slowly as 17 miles per hour. US 1 not seeing many delays at all. You guys can take that instead if you don't want to sit in this bumper to bumper traffic. A little further north, you do have an accident here, not causing you any delays, but just something to be aware of. This is going northbound on 95. It's the ramp to Sterling Road where this accident happened. You do have a right lane blocked there. So just be aware of this if this is part of your commute in the mornings. Give yourself a little extra time to get around it and be wary of those people working out there to get this cleaned up. Let's take you over here. Drive times. For those of you who take the 836, things look really good for you. If you head eastbound, this typically gets very congested as the morning progresses. Right now, you're looking at 11 to 4 minutes. Be safe.
For Baby Burr on this Tuesday, welcome to the chill. South Florida temperatures are in the low 50s. Fort Lauderdale, Miami 51 degrees, 62 in Key West. Wind out of the northwest, anywhere between 10 to 15 miles per hour. Told you we get to those 40s, especially over Broward County. Weston, I just checked, you're at 45, but you have a wind chill temperature of 42 degrees. Same for you in Parkland. Otherwise, Pompano Beach 49, 48 in Pembroke Pines. As you heard me mention, 51 in Miami. The wind chill, look, it feels like 42 chilly degrees in Pembroke Pines and 43 in Pompano Beach. That's why Parkland and Weston, you are feeling 42 as well once you factor in the wind chill. And the wind chill in Miami at 51 degrees. Winds gusting in the 20s in Fort Lauderdale, the 20s and 30s down by the Keys. It's that northwest wind advecting that cold, dry, less humid conditions. And this is the most impressive graphic I've seen all morning, is how cold it's gotten in the last 24 hours. 16 to 27 degrees colder in our neighborhoods, all thanks to that cold front clearing. And you know what else is impressive? Highs today will barely get to the upper 60s. I'll have a lot more in your forecast. Don't forget those sunglasses as you're laying up this morning, especially if you're planning some outdoor activities and headed towards all the festivities today. More coming up.
Sunglasses and sweaters. That is the theme for today, right, Julie? South Florida, good morning. Let's take a look right here. I have another look for you at the Julia Tuttle. Things looking beautiful as you head out the door this morning, especially if you're heading to the beach. Things look really good. You can tell it's a holiday because your roads look very good. It is 6:34 and everything is still in the green. Normally we have areas that have big pockets of red, like the turnpike going northbound a little further down south, but right now things are looking really good for you. As you can see here, I have a look for you right after Southwest 152nd Street. You've got a little bit of a delay. The Don Chula as you approach Kendall Drive, also a little bit of a delay, but nothing to be concerned about. Just give yourself maybe a little extra time, but you can tell a lot of people are probably off today. Let's take you a little further north. I do want to point out this to you. You are seeing some slight delays here because of an accident. This is 95 going northbound. It's the ramp to Sterling Road where this accident happened. You do have a right lane blocked, so also something to be aware of, but you can see it's not causing you any major delays here. Speeds coming in as slowly as 18 miles per hour. You can always take 441 or US 1 if you want to avoid this. Let's take you over here. Drive times for those of you who take 595. Things looking good for you. 12 to 6 minutes to get you where you need to go. Be safe.
Hi, Andrew. Alex, South Florida. Well, you know, these things don't last long here in South Florida. It is a brief chill, but we've got freezing line temperatures all the way down to the panhandle of Florida. So that's how cold this Arctic air is, and that's why it's such a big deal. And it's actually come pretty early in the year. We typically don't see these freezing temperatures until December. By the way, we have now tied the temperature we were forecasting at 49 degrees as our low in Miami. The record is 48, so if we drop one more degree, we will tie the record low for this date set back in 1913. And as we go through the day, we're expecting highs to be below the record that was set in 1913. So we may have a new record low warm later this afternoon. So lots to talk about as the kids are getting up this morning. Most of you are going to be enjoying a little longer time inside with temperatures right now in the 40s in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, 60 degrees in Key West. Now all morning we've been feeling the 40s out there, even though the air temperature has been in the 50s. The breeze is moving in from the northwest. We have our wind chill factor right now. Weston last check 41 degrees, Parkland 41, Pembroke Pines 42, 43 in Hialeah, and it feels like 45 chilly degrees right now in Miami. Winds anywhere between 13.8 to even 22-mile-per-hour wind gusts actually reported in the Keys as well as Broward County. These temperatures 18 to 28 degrees colder than yesterday. And what else has happened? Well, we're very dry, so dry. Look at this. Bone dry across the state, and unfortunately that has caused the issues of a red flag warning that's been issued for the southwestern half of our state. Panhandle, Florida, freezing right now. Their wind chill even colder than the air temperature. That northwest breeze will continue to evict the cold air across our state. We have that snowfall across Chicago and upstate New York, across parts of the northeast. But for us here in South Florida, it's all about the dry air, the cold air, and unfortunately the dry air is poising that threat for a red flag warning. Any little spark could start a fire, especially because the winds will be gusting in the 20s and 30s. Otherwise, here on the East Coast, it's all about the cold temperatures. I'm happy to tell you it doesn't last long. If you think this is too cold for you, our lows do warm up about 10 degrees tomorrow. We'll be in the 50s. That's still chilly for me. As for the winds gusting well into the 20s today, and then they drop down to the teens as we go into tomorrow. Tomorrow morning's lows in the upper 50s. So it's still going to be chilly. You'll still need to layer up tomorrow as the kids go back to school and as you're making your plans. High risk of currents for beachgoers, boaters. The bays will be rough with nearshore waters looking at seas 9 to 13 feet. Same for you in the Keys. So please take your time to stay onshore, layer up, and enjoy this very brief break from the heat, the humidity, and a winter-like day in the middle of fall.
We love it though, Julie. Anything we can get, right? It's so hot year-round. To be able to experience these days is really nice, and finally be able to use the seat heater feature in your car. Let's take a look right here. This is I-95 going northbound near Sterling Road. You do have some heavy delays here because of this accident on your off-ramp. You can see that there's cones blocking off the ramp, but you're still able to get around those cones. So if the Sterling Road off-ramp is part of your commute this morning, you won't be affected. You can still get off, but you will have to sit in some traffic to get there. You can always take 441 or US 1 if you'd like to avoid this. As you can see, your maps look really good. It is 7:20 this morning, and things are looking very good. Normally at this hour, we are seeing lots of red just across your map, but right now you can see it's all in the green. That area where I was just showing you a live look, your accident, you have a large chunk of orange there. It's not anything to be too concerned about, but again, I wouldn't want to sit in this either, as the rest of your roads are smooth sailing out there. So take US 1 or 441 if you'd like to avoid this, because as you saw, you do have several lanes blocked there with the off-ramp. The Dolphin Expressway looking really good going eastbound, another area that's always very congested. You can tell lots of people are off today for Veterans Day. Speaking of which, thank you for your service to all those veterans out there. 14 to 6 minutes to get you where you need to go. Be safe.
Well, still coming up.
I think it's fantastic weather for us to be able to honor and thank everybody that has served, their families that have served for us, because it's better than sweating, and especially because as everybody's outdoors, you can breathe that fresh air. It's going to still be pretty chilly. Obviously, we won't be in the 40s. I think we said that the parade started around 10 o'clock. We'll be in the 50s. Still cold for us South Floridian blood, so layer up. Temperatures still in the 40s in Fort Lauderdale, Miami, 60 degrees in Key West. We have 47 Pembroke Pines, 48 in Hialeah. Last check, Weston, you're at 45, as well as you as Parkland. But it's the wind chill that really gets you as you walk out the door. It feels like a chilly 42 in Kendall, 45 in Miami, 42 in Weston, Pembroke Pines, and 43 in Pompano Beach. Winds out of the northwest, anywhere between 8 to 13 miles per hour, gusting well into the 20s in Fort Lauderdale and into the Keys. This is impressive. We're anywhere between 18 to 28 degrees colder than yesterday at this time. That's impressive. All right, so as the parades go off, you just need to have your sunglasses and those layers of jackets, sweaters, scarves, and boots, as temperatures will struggle to reach the upper 60s. More on all this coming up.
Good. Good morning, South Florida at 7:33. This accident is still very active. This right here is 95 going northbound. This is near Sterling Road. It's the off-ramp to Sterling Road where you are seeing all of that activity. You can see that they've blocked it off with cones, but you can still get around it. So if this is part of your morning commute, don't worry. You can still jump off on the Sterling Road exit, but you may have to sit in this in order to get there. So if you'd like to avoid this, you can take 441 or US 1. Let me take you closer to where that accident is. You just saw your maps look really good for the most part in the green, just the surrounding area of the Golden Glades interchange, but everything else looks really good. Right here is where that accident is happening. Again, you are seeing delays because of that off-ramp being shut down, although you can still work your way around it, so that's good news. Drive times here at Dolphin Expressway, the June Road to I-95, 7 minutes, the Turnpike to I-95, 15 minutes. Things look really good for you this morning. You can definitely feel that Veterans Day holiday out there. Be safe.
Your walkway there, this is going to be a cold Tuesday morning.
Some unique hazards to talk about here on this Tuesday, Julie.
Yeah, it's not like where you're from, the Northeast, where you deal with snow as you're shoveling out the door. We got to look for iguanas. Not like for us from California. We don't worry about that.
By the way, I take that 10 times out of 10 instead of scraping ice off the desk.
I bet you do. And I know you remember those days very well. Well, let me tell you, we are back into the 50s, Fort Lauderdale, Miami. After having an official low of 49 degrees, it was that for an hour, and that's why we did see those iguanas in the last hour. I was telling our producers that we needed to check and see around the areas because that would be the only time we did see those iguanas kind of stunned. 58 degrees in Key West. We have 49 Pembroke Pines and really Weston Parkland. Those were the coolest spots with temperatures dropping down to the 40s for much of our northwestern half of Broward County. Our wind chill factor is still 40s. We've got Pembroke Pines, Pompano Beach, 42 in Kendall, 58 in Key West. Winds out of the northwest, anywhere between 10 to 20 mile per hour wind gust. Our temperatures have dropped 20 to 28 degrees. That's impressive. What else is impressive? Highs today will only be reaching the upper 60s if we even get there. Our lows tomorrow will be back into the 50s, and I did want to go over that iguana forecast. We were talking about it, and yep, it did happen. We did see those iguanas pretty stunned with those wind chill temperatures in the mid 40s. More on all this coming up in just a bit.
Alrighty, South Florida, we've been telling you about this fatal accident on I-95 going northbound. This is at Sterling Road. The good news here is that it has since cleared, or it's clearing. You can see several emergency vehicles still here unseen, but the off-ramp that was blocked is now open. You can see that there's still some heavy delays leading up to Sterling Road, leading up to Sheridan Street. Unfortunately, this was a fatal accident. It did have several lanes blocked for quite some time, but now things are moving. Let's take you closer to it. You've got a bit of red here, still causing some delays there as they continue to complete their investigation there, but there's definitely less emergency vehicles out there. Give yourself extra time if this is part of your commute, but you can also take US 1 or 441 if you just want to avoid this area altogether. Something else I want to point out to you here is the Julia Tuttle. You are experiencing some delays as you head on to the beach. If you're heading off the beach, you guys look good, but if you are choosing between the two, take the MacArthur Causeway instead. The Venetian's also a good option for you. Good time to put your windows down and blast some good music because the weather is so beautiful today. Let's take a look here. Drive times for those of you who take the Palmetto Expressway going southbound, just a little longer. Not too bad at all, though. Northwest 154th Street to the Dolphin, 27 minutes. I-75 to the Dolphin, 28. Be safe.
On top of it. So there's just been a lot of travel trouble in general, but you can see the entire country looking very blue this morning, but we are not as cold as we are in other places, but still 50. Pretty impressive, right, Julie? Good morning to you. It is so chilly out there. Unbelievable, but at least we get to wear our sweater dresses.
Yeah, absolutely, and our boots. And actually, we got even colder than 50. Amanda, there was a moment this morning that we actually had a low of 49 degrees in Miami, which is what we were forecasting. 48 in Fort Lauderdale, 46 chilly degrees was our low in Weston, and also Pembroke Pines, 48 for you in Homestead. All right, that does bring us to the conversation of if we had dropped 1 more degrees, we actually would have tied the record low for this date of 48 degrees set back in 1913. But we have a chance of tying the record low high as a temperature because I'm going with 69, the record's 70. So as long as we hit 69, we'll be good. We'll break that record and we'll make it a 2025 record. As for a live look outside, it's beautiful out there. Bright blue skies, a little bit of mid and high level clouds, and now temperatures have warmed up just 1 degree since across the area since the 7 o'clock hour. Northwest wind continued to take place. As you can see, the beach with those temperatures. Not too many people joining outdoor activities right now because it is still very chilly with a wind chill factor of 44 degrees in Pembroke Pines. Also Weston and Parkland, I just checked, 43, 44 Pompano Beach. 50 is what it does feel like with that wind chill in Miami. Winds out of the northwest anywhere between 10 to about 18 miles per hour, gusting in the teens and 20s right now. Temperatures have dropped 20 to 29 degrees colder than yesterday. Dew points are in the 30s. The air is so dry. It's so crisp. It's refreshing. Open up those windows and doors at home and enjoy it. Air everything out for the next couple hours because it may be quite some time that we're going to have a nice little round of drier air like this in the forecast. Unfortunately, it is so dry and expected to meet the criteria of a red flag warning for our friends in the west coast of South Florida. For us, we're going to be chilly. Winds start to veer in from the northeast starting as early as tonight, so that does bring us a subtle change in the forecast by warming us up. Remember that ocean breeze will bring us slightly warmer conditions, about 10 degrees warmer for our morning lows, but it's still below average with lows tomorrow in the 50s. Winds gusting well into the 20s this afternoon. We do that again as we go into tomorrow, teens and 20s, but it's really about the temperatures tomorrow. Not nearly as cold, but still probably needing some layers with 50s. Our dew points stay comfortable and dry for the rest of the week. As you heard we mentioned, not a good day to head to the beach or do any boating. We have that high risk of rip currents for beach goers, boaters. The bays will be rough with seas 9 to 13 feet, possibly even higher, especially beyond the reef for you in the Keys. 7-day forecast. Enjoy on your Veterans Day. All the festivities and the parades are going to be beautiful out there. Bundle up. And then tomorrow you may need those light sweaters and jackets to start off the morning hours, maybe even Thursday too, before you really see the warm up by the end of the week.
That's right, South Florida, and put on those seat warmers because it is cold out there, as you heard Julie talk about. Right here, we are taking a look at the Dolphin Expressway going eastbound just before I-95. You do have a broken down car in your left lanes. For the most part, your traffic looks good across the board. You can kind of feel that people are off today. Let's take a look at your map. See right there, all in the green. It is 8:51, and typically things are a little bit busier right now, but let's take you closer to where that broken down car is. You can see you've got quite a build up there, but nothing to be too concerned about. If you don't want to sit in that, you can always take the Airport Expressway. Not too far away, you have another broken down car on the MacArthur Causeway. That is as you approach Alton Road, but both the Julia Tuttle and the MacArthur Causeway seeing some slight delays. You can always take the Venetian if you want to avoid either one of these. Let's take you over to some drive times, my friends, right here. 595 going eastbound, 13 to 7 minutes to get you where you need to go. Don't go anywhere. We've got lots more on the other side of this break.
You're watching